Hey guys, Darth Sebious here with another Sebious Speaks, and this is sort of my review for the week, and I am talking about The Masque of Vyle by Andy Chambers. That's the mask with a Q-U-E, not a K, not to be confused with the Masque of Clavius Vyle from The Elder Scrolls, which I remember when originally posted the rumours of this coming out a long time ago now. People was like, why is it called that? It's not called the mask as in a mask, it's called the mask as in the troop of Elder and the Harlequins that are involved in this tale. So, I'm going to have to say, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed a lot of it. As always, spoilers, I'm going to talk a bit about it. I'm not going to get too in depth, and even if you haven't read it before and I do spoil some things, one of the things that's amazing about this is the beautiful imagery and the way parts of it are written so wonderfully. And my limited vocabulary in this sort of quick overview and review is I'm not going to be able to plumb the depths of how amazing they are. So there's still great stuff, even if you do end up watching this and spoiling a bit for yourself. So, the Masque of Vyle. We're starting off with a small kind of not a named craft world, a small, very small, a small kind of lost, unknown craft world that's seemingly been ravaged. We have the troop of the Harlequins, and they are there basically cleansing it of the tainted Wraithguard and Eldar and the bad things that are now residing in this place. Wonderfully doing it, actually performing it, which is kind of incredible. You have the leader of the troop fighting, and then the mimic literally following in his steps and kind of performing as they are, literally fighting for their lives, which is incredible. And after they've fought this off, they're visited by Motley, who is a very tricky and enigmatic figure of the troop, whose kind of actual his place in the troop, because he is not a normal part of this Harlequin band. He is something that is around them, and important to them, and their kind of function and form is explained kind of later on. But he kind of cryptically says about how some people have come and ravaged this craft world, and they kind of need to go and find out who did it. And it sort of starts off as a bit of a who done it, to a certain extent, and off the troop go to find out what has happened to this craft world and deal the justice, because they are kind of the judge, jury, and executioners to a certain extent of the Eldar world, and they move between craft world to craft world and further in towards their Dark Elder cousins as this story progresses, because it seems that it's some Dark Elder Archon that has ravaged this world and taken the Soul Stones and the souls of the Eldar, obviously for Slaanesh, to keep Slaanesh's thirst off their back for a while, as Dark Elder are wont to do, rather than having the joy of the Infinity Circuit and Soul Stones and Aisha's Tears that the Elder have. So then we kind of transported to the Sable Marshes, where Sable Marches, the marshland place that has been ruled by the Ygera clan for a significant time, although it has been taken over by Archon Vyle in recent years. And we're with Archon Casis, or Kaisis, who I believe is a cousin to Archon Vyle. And as soon as we're in sort of the head, and we're following this Archon Kaisis, the quality slips drastically. As I said in my weekly review, I don't know a huge about Dark Eldar. I know a fair bit about Eldar, and I feel more comfortable with them. But the way the Dark Eldar are kind of handled in this story is very similar to the way Chaos and Chaos Space Marine can be portrayed in some stories. They are hardcore, tropey, almost ridiculously villainous. Every thought is so heinous and extreme and turned up to 11, and it makes it a bit for difficult reading, and it kind of jars a bit with the beautiful kind of poetry and the imagery that surrounds the Harlequins. I know it's supposed to show how different they are, but just the whole quality and the way it's handled does go down a bit, which is a bit of a shame. But Cassius is meeting his cousin and going hunting and basically spending the time with him in the Sable Marches. There is a weird thing going on where the webway or the dark webway or whatever it is the dark elder use the routes, the portals from here to Kamara. My pronunciation is shocking. I do apologise. This is more about the book than getting into fluff too much. Anyway, the portals have been sealed, which is obviously a bit worrying for Cases because he might want to leave. But they're going hunting, and we find a bit more about the Yagara clan. They used to own the Sable Marches until Vyle came, and he's now kind of seen his family essentially murdered and tortured, and now he is the servant of Vyle, and he's all traipsing through the house talking about the ridiculous number of traps and all the different forms of this great house that once belonged to his clan that now belongs to Vyle. And there are many different wings that have different colours and different moods, including the black room where someone went crazy and burnt the house down and killed themselves, and all wonderful stuff like that happened. So we have the Archons there. They're going hunting on these huge reptilian insectoid beast things, which could easily have poison and eat your legs, even though you sort of sit above them. So you've got to keep your legs splayed away from those fangs, which is just a lovely and ridiculous concept on its own. And they're hunting a Sixis or a Sexis, which is a giant feline thing. I kind of imagine it a bit more like a slightly more fluffy, that horrible panther thing from Avatar. That kind of some huge, scary feline beast that they're hunting, and they're being watched by the Harlequin troop, who are there to sort of kind of judge them. And on the first night, they have a big banquet, despite the people being the people they're subjugating having no food, and there's going to be a bad harvest, and they're planning to just kind of essentially just poison the water to kill all food and all kind of life, so the indigenous sort of slaved people there die out so they can start again and bring in more subservient and easier to rule servants, which is an interesting concept on its own. But they're going to have a big banquet despite everyone else starving, because that's just fun. And in the middle of this banquet, the Harlequin troop appear and offer to perform their show, which is the Penumbra, talking about the fall of the Eldar and the war of the gods and how things came to be, and the gods no more apart with the Eldar and how they're all dead and stuff. But also relating that to the story of people at the banquet. So Yagara goes first, and the beginning of the fall and the communing and the beautiful tale of the Eldar is kind of vision. It's kind of they have the there's the shadow play, and there's hallucinogenic smoke and things being billowing around, and this whole beautiful, wonderful, just hypnotic and just so beautifully detailed and just crazy show of the tale of the fall of the Eldar, which then mixes and brings in Yagara, and he finds himself being forced to kind of bear his sins in many ways, and he talks about how his clan, there was so much fighting and backbiting and just in-house fighting and murder and betrayal, and how their tale is just one of such woe. But he actually went to Kamora and basically tried to win some favor with those in the Dark City, and basically him going there, he basically called Vyle to help him out, who ended up being in charge. So he is kind of a Judas Iscariot. He is the betrayer of the Sable Marches and of the Yagara clan, and in doing and saying this, he goes completely insane and runs off and disappears. So they know it wasn't him. Essentially, they've told this beautiful, kaleidoscopic, hallucinogenic show and made him bare his soul, but he's not guilty, but he is mad and he is bad, so that's fairly fine. This continues with to the next night, where Casis, who is the Carbolite warrior Archon, is called up, and he is again given the wonderful show for everybody, and he feels the love of Aisha, and really feels he wants to perform and really give his all and feel the love of her, so he bears his soul and tells his darkest secrets, which basically he is a bad motherfucking space pirate. And one of the things that he did which is just glorious. Being, it warms my heretic heart. He went to an ecclesiarchy world, and basically he made all of the masons and priests and people there take down all the iconography of the emperor and make it of him. He also then chopped off everybody's arms and told them to keep on worshipping him, and he would be back. And he's been back a number of times to kind of cull the people and make sure it's still no longer an ecclesiarchy world, it's a casus world of vanity and degradation and horrificness, which which is so horrible and horrific, but it's just so impressive in itself. But he feels the shame of what's been happening, and he kind of flees as well, and is kind of not sort of really known exactly what becomes of him. But it seems that the huge feline beast that they were fighting was somehow let into the house, and many people have been killed, including presumably Casus himself. So that's the kind of the main crux of the first two parts, and finally it comes to the last night where it would be Archon Vyle's turn to have the performance, and he is sort of waiting in the blackened, most depressing, blown up place where the previous owner had killed themselves and burned themselves to death. He is there, and he is waiting for his own show and to be forced to bear his own sort of sins, but they don't come, and the paranoia kind of is building up to the point where he just says his bears his own soul anyway, because he wants to get it out over and done with, and doesn't want the kind of crazy show that the Harlequins will bring to him. And he says basically that he had wanted to go to the Sable Marches, and he had agreed to help Yagara, because the Sable Marches actually held a forgotten and hidden portal to this unnamed forgotten craft world, which he then reaved and destroyed. So he is the guilty one, and he kind of attempts to escape in case as the Harlequins show up, but the people of the entire planet have risen up and are kind of lining up all around the house, blocking his exit. But he does escape out the back door, only into the clutches of the Harlequins and the entire troop. At which place Motley, who has been a big part of all of the performances, kind of reveals himself to be the solitaire, the damned member of the troop who was already half given to Slaanesh. They are a form of Eldar that is kind of half Eldar, half demon, that basically protects the souls of the Harlequins, because they don't have the boon of the Infinity Circuit and the craft world to protect them. They already have one who is half damned. And in true wonderful Slaaneshi fashion, Motley consumes the soul of the Archon as the kind of final ruling of judgment upon him, and gives a nice hearty belch, which seems amusing to the reader, but even the Death Jester finds it absolutely kind of soul-destroying and harrowing. And we find ourselves at the end of the tale. Now, I really did enjoy the two main performances of the show, and the prologue, the things that are covering the Harlequins. It's written so beautifully, and I really can't wax lyrical about that enough. The imagery and the way just the tale is weaved, and just how reality kind of shifts back, and the veil of this performance is just incredible, and I love it. But as I said, when it comes to Dark Eldar, it's very hammy, and I'm sorry if Mr. Chambers sees this. I doubt it, but that happened before with Ravenlord. But at least I was saying good things, and Gavthorpe is awesome, and then Chambers is awesome, and he does this. Just crafts the Harlequins so well. But sadly, the Dark Eldar are just so heinous and ridiculous that that it becomes a ridiculousness. Now, I know the idea of a kind of wandering circus pantomime group that are the judge, jury, and executioners of an entire alien race also seems ridiculous, but it's handled with a gravitas and a grounding, just a realism in a surreal way that the Dark Elder just aren't given. And this might just be a thing of the Dark Elder; they are just that ridiculous. But I know that people say that about Chaos as well, but Chaos can be really well handled. For instance, the Word Bearers saga by Anthony Reynolds, it's proper creepy cool and just skin crawling weirdness, which Chaos should be, rather than kind of just the evil space Nazis of Doom. And yeah, kind of the basically the Dark Elder come across as just the evil kind of imperialistic slavers of Doom. Which they are, of course, but I'm sure there is more to them, because there is so much more to the Elder. And yeah, I just loved the troop and the way things are told, and it's kind of in some ways it reminds me of a Christmas Carol, with the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. And in another way, which people might not agree with so much, but another way it kind of very much reminds me of I'm sorry, everybody, but it does remind me of the Dark Carnival in the Insane Clown Posse's mythology and the story. In many ways, the shadow play, and I can never remember what the actual shadow Weaver, I think it is called, but it could be the Great Malenko. Motley could very well be the Jekyll brothers. I'm very sorry. And obviously the leader, the Sun King, would be the Ringmaster. And obviously it is this kind of crazy performance and illusions that judge the soul, the kind of purgatory in motion type stuff. And that's epic. And yeah, I really enjoyed the Harlequins. On the whole, I really enjoyed the book. If it was all written with the same love that the Harlequin stuff, it would be an easy 5 out of 5, or maybe even a 6 out of 5. But I really think the Dark Elder pulled it back a little bit and make it probably a 4 for me. But it is awesome. I highly recommend it. I know they're kind of difficult to get a hold of now, but I think I might be selling this one at some point, so look out for that. But yes, I look forward to talking about Yarick Chains of Golgotha next week, and hopefully doing a bit of a review. I think there was a few wires crossed. I need to make sure about the Transire Rebellion, whether it was the full episode that was free, because the extract I heard was interesting. Not great. I did a video talking about that, but if that wasn't the full episode, I may be buying the full episode or giving a go to the second episode just to give it a bit more of a try, and maybe doing a review of that later this week. But that has been another Sebious Speaks and my kind of review for the week of the Masque of Vyle. Great, yeah, awesome, but yeah, there are a few things I said about it as well. But yeah, Sebious Speaks, my review for the week, for Allies Index, a place for all things geeky gaming. That's alliesindex.com. We're mainly based on Tumblr, but we're on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube as well. We've got video games, card games, board games, news, rumours, videos, all that sort of stuff. We've been making a fair few new videos recently, let's plays and reviews and talks and stuff. And you should check that stuff out. And if you want to get involved in any way and want to share your own reviews and things with us, or even your own stories and things with us, or artwork or anything, we would most welcome it, and you can submit to us on there and we will share your joy with the world. So awesome scenes. I will catch you guys later. Taddy bye.